We're back. What's up, Brandon? What's up, guys? What's up, Grayson?
Not much. Another beautiful Sunday.
I feel like I was just mumbling there, but what's up, guys? Oh, man. It's a bit of a boring week. I don't know about you guys, but it's been really boring for me.
I worked 6 days. I had to go back to work on Monday after we did last week's podcast, and I worked Monday through Saturday. And it was crazy. Had some
Working
big
man.
wigs. Had some big wigs visit.
The suits.
Yeah, I had some suits visit.
That's always
had
the
one of those
worst.
I had one of those store walks with the district manager, and
How's corporate doing?
corporate's doing great.
Right.
Telling you all the bad shit you've been doing and all the stuff you need to fix.
We had a great walk.
I was going to say, I hear it's been the time for home improvement.
Yes.
Because
yes, it has.
everybody's been spending money on repairing the things they already have. So car repair, house repair.
You know what's crazy is last year, my store, don't want to mention the company, but my store had its largest year by 25%. Normally we're, somewhere of like a $30 million store, and we went up to $40 million just over the course of a year. So it's pretty crazy.
Did everybody get raises? Everybody get some hazard pay? Or?
Yeah. My company was a good. I mean, they treated the associates really, really good. They did a bunch of like COVID raises.
I worked for a
bonuses.
bank, and they made a lot of money too, and I didn't get shit. So like,
yeah, no, I honestly they passed it on to the hourly employees a lot.
They
like
didn't
I
do
was really
shit
happy.
for me.
I got a couple extra weeks vacation.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, so I was pretty stoked about that, and
It's always good to hear companies taking care
but
of
I
their
will say
employees.
they're expecting the same kind of year this year that what we had last year. I don't know how that's going to work. It's weird because as COVID changed the buying habits of a lot of people. I think there was a lot of people that went to my business that didn't go years prior because we were open.
and they're going to keep coming back because they
Maybe.
maybe picked up new hobbies, gardening.
Yeah, that's the thing is I think all of it's speculation. I don't think anybody really knows how this year is going to play out.
They do that. They base it off. I remember when I worked in a home improvement store that we were talking about the ice storm of 07. That we had the best month was that January, and it was $1 million month, and our store only usually did like 150 to 200,000.
Yeah.
And the next year they were really mad because we didn't hit our projection, which was like $1.4 million. And it's like, no. And it's like, but they increase, right? Like they have to every month they increase.
Yeah, there's no pessimism in sales.
No.
You always have to be optimistic in sales.
You
So
want to be better than what you did the previous
if
quarter
you-
of previous month.
If you did 10 in January last year, then they expect 11. Even if the most you've done in before that January was 5.
Right, yeah, that's the way that it is. But I remember they were pissed off that next year about it. But
There's not really, in that term, we say there's no pessimism in sales. I also say sometimes when you make those projections, there's no realism in sales either.
I think
Not really.
I think most of these corporate assholes don't know their ass from a hole in the ground.
That's a good time.
Let's roll the intro music, Grayson.
Hey, feel I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a sticker. She picture perfect, so I told him I'm a flicker. Feel I'm in the mood for a change up. I leave the city and return with my change up. They got amnesia, don't remember how they played us. They wanna knock me down, but somehow I just stay up. Look.
Critically unacclaimed. I'm Tyler, here with Brandon and our producer Grayson. What's up, guys?
Yo.
Hello.
So it's like I said, it's kind of a boring week. One thing that I did want to talk about that I thought was hilarious, just right off the bat here. Yeah, they did the was it like CPAC?
Yeah.
Thing. And like you guys know if you've listened to any of the other episodes, I'm not a Republican at all, but I did see some pictures of this golden Trump
God, right.
statue with like American flag pants, and he's wearing flip flops. Did you see this?
No.
Oh, dude, it is hilarious, and people are going up to it, like touching it, praying and shit. It's the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. It's so goddamn comical, man. Like, it's just like, what the fuck is going on? It's like literally this, like, it's like Trump in like American flag shorts with flip flops on, and he's solid gold, and he's got like a, don't he have like his suit coat on too?
The tie.
Yeah, and a tie. Yeah.
Because nothing screams American like Trump wearing board shorts.
Oh, is this fucking like it's like Florida Trump or something. Ain't that what it is? It's like a Florida Trump thing.
It was a spectacle to behold.
Dude, the people praying, touching it, praying and shit. Like, oh man, fuck, like made my fucking week. I'm gonna tell you that.
We're fucked.
No, it was hilarious. They're saying like he's don't know if he's gonna run again, but he's gonna declare that he's gonna be the leader of the Republican Party.
Well, that would really be something
if he's not running for president, but he's just the leader of the Republican Party. Like
so
the
basically,
Grand Chancellor
he'll be like the emperor. He's the emperor.
He's the emperor.
So like he'll
Dragon.
basically be the guy. He'll be like, okay, we're gonna nominate this douchebag to be the Republican nomination for president, and then like he's gonna basically say like, oh, if you're a Trump guy, you're now John douchebag guy. Like you're this guy for president.
It's kind of terrifying.
If Donald Trump is the emperor,
and you're this guy,
and that means that I guess that means that Mitch McConnell's Grand Moff Tarkin.
See, I don't think McConnell. Maybe
he's out.
I thought McConnell was kind of out because he said some evil shit. Like
right.
He said Trump, definitely did the insurrection, even though he didn't vote for him.
Right.
Didn't vote for impeachment. He definitely said he was guilty.
Well,
but
our state's
Trump said
fine.
that he was really pissed off about that. So.
No, Holly is that sniveling. What's the sniveling?
Josh Hawley.
Yeah, Josh Hawley. Yeah, no, Hawley. Yeah, he's the guy from the new trilogy.
He's Hux.
He's Hux. Dude, isn't he? Isn't he? Isn't that
Kinda.
perfect?
100%.
Yeah.
Who's Darth Vader?
The only thing I want to give Hawley credit, and because
Please don't.
well, he actually stuck up and said that Missourians needed help, needed the COVID money, and they needed to do something. He was one of the only Republicans who was definitely for the $2,000, and so I definitely have to give him credit on that. But other than that, he did incite an insurrection in the Capitol, so he should be probably removed from office.
In 5 deaths.
But other than that,
we're all right.
I'm glad he felt that way.
I mean, if I get $2,000 from it, those 5 deaths, that's nothing.
Oh man,
that's fucked
Grayson.
up. That's fucked
Grayson.
up. Oh,
that was.
That's
the darkest thing you've said.
We didn't talk about this before the show, but this is something that we definitely need to bring up.
Oh shit!
What about the bombing in Syria?
I didn't hear about this.
Oh, Biden ordered bombings in Syria of
yeah.
an Iranian terrorist group, right? It was a terrorist group in Syria. It was Iranian led.
It was his very first declaration that we know of any kind of military action.
I've seen some great Twitter. It's like, man, Biden sure has been dropping a lot of bombs for somebody who owes me $2,000.
That's the truth.
That was hilarious. I was like, that's like my mom when I home running. It's like, oh, you bought a new fishing pole? Don't you owe me $50 or something? Like,
right.
why did you buy that fishing pole? I got your $50, Mom. Calm down.
So the airstrikes were on Iran-backed groups in Syria. That's
Yes.
who we were bombing.
Yes.
Right? And the reason that it was kind of such a big deal is we're trying to get back in this Iran.
I think it's also kind of
trying to restart the Iran nuclear deal, which they're completely out of.
Yeah, but ain't it kind of a big deal too? Because didn't Trump want to do that, and Democrats were all up his ass about it? They were, didn't they do some stuff to stop him from making any kind of moves in that regard? I just it just seems like they kind of went, shut down Trump on doing that, and then as soon as Biden gets in there, he just does it.
Well, there's been some attacks. There's been some attacks, in specifically Erbil.
See, I got to preface this. I'm not completely educated on this topic. It was just something that I've read this week, and I haven't really followed through with.
So I've actually been in Erbil.
Okay.
Erbil is well, I will say this. The last time I was in Erbil was 13 years ago, and I don't know if these are the right nomenclatures yet, but Erbil was the...
Do you think maybe the roads have changed? They give proper directions?
No.
Do they got a McDonald's now?
The town is definitely called Erbil still. Erbil, when I was there, was the basically kind of the capital city of the Kurdish regional government.
Okay.
Right, the Kurdish people want Kurdistan. That's how they've always wanted their own country, and Iran does not want that. Iraq does not want. Nobody fucking wants the Kurds to have their own country.
This is it's a real small little corner of Iran that they're trying to take.
Iraq,
right?
Iraq. Erbil's actually in Iraq,
but it's right there on the border, right?
Yes,
And
it's it's kind of,
and it's just like
on
a
one
little
side there's Turkey, on one side there's Iraq, on one side there's
it's just like
Iran.
kind of like a little circle that kind of borders all these little places.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
But it's owned. Is that the right thing? By Iraq right now? Like
no, it's inside. Yes, it's inside the Iraqi borders.
right. Okay.
The Kurdish people in northern Iraq is that they've created their own regional government. We called it the KRG. It was the Kurdish Regional Government. I don't know that it's called anything else now.
Yeah.
But anyways, they're our allies. So
Yeah,
like
100%.
that was as safe as you could get in Iraq while I was there, was being up in that district.
I've heard of the Kurds before, and I know like aren't they? And correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm probably completely wrong. They're more for a democracy type of government, right?
Yes, as long as it's a Kurd in charge.
Yes, but it's not. But they're also not. They're not super religious in that regard, though, right? Like they're more progressive.
Oh no, yeah, they're totally religious.
I thought they were more progressive.
Okay, so
Maybe I'm wrong.
I'll tell you some of the things that I know about the Kurds, but we'll define our terms. The Kurds are one of the indigenous people of the Mesopotamian plains and the highlands in what are now southeastern Turkey, northeastern Syria, northern Iraq, northwestern Iraq, and they're definitely Sunni Muslims. The majority of them are Sunni Muslims. They don't actually have a state, which we were just talking about.
So they're definitely not progressive. they're
No, not really. I mean, okay, so
They might be progressive in terms of everybody around them. But
maybe that's what it is. Maybe
maybe
they're not so
our
much
views
to
of
like
progressive.
of like killing people and
They
stuff.
probably
like
don't
that.
let their women drive cars. Type
Probably
thing.
yeah.
well they helped against ISIS.
Okay.
That was a big thing. So the Kurdish military is called the Peshmerga, and all these guys have ever known is battle.
Weren't they the ones who they helped out a lot against ISIS, right? Like they were the ones who were really
so
kind of
the Iraqi
them
army
up.
got pushed back.
Isn't
Like farther south than I was. See, I was in Kirkuk, which
Yeah.
is it's the largest Iraqi city in northern Iraq, and ISIS pushed all the way through Kirkuk. In fact, the base that I was at, as far as I know, was ISIS was in control of that air base. We were gone. Obviously,
Right.
The Peshmerga, which is the Kurdish military, have been fighting literally for their rights as exist for decades.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, it's like probably 100 years or so.
Yeah, so they came in and they fought ISIS very hard in northern Iraq.
I remember
because the
hearing about
Iraqi
this on
army
the news.
abandoned northern Iraq.
I remember some of this on the news. Yeah.
I think the Peshmerga are also in the original Red Dawn movie.
Are they?
Yeah, I think
Or are they part of the invaders?
they're the good guys that the main character, like there's like a cave scene where he like it's been like
Man, I gotta rewatch that
forever
original
since I
Red
watched
Dawn
Red
movie.
Dawn.
I remember it when I was a kid. It was always pretty dope when I
don't-
caught it on Fox.
Because I don't remember
Because
that.
it's the Russian invasion of Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And it's an American that gets trapped behind enemy lines trying to make it out of the desert.
Which one is this?
This is not Red Dawn.
Okay.
Because Red Dawn is Wolverines.
The Wolverines.
When the Russians in the Afghanistan, or not Afghanistan,
wait.
Cuba.
Cuba.
They invade the United
Yeah.
States.
Yeah, I've never seen that
A
one.
group of you've never seen Red
Wolverines.
Dawn.
Oh, it's got Patrick Swayze in it.
Shit,
And they
man.
did a remake, and it's got Chris Hemsworth in the
It's got
remake.
Charlie Sheen in it.
Yeah, Charlie Sheen. Ain't
I have no idea what movie I'm
Thomas
talking
C.
about.
Howell. Thomas C. Howell.
Isn't one of the Coreys in it? Or am I
No.
getting that wrong? Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
It's got a lot of good
Who's
people.
who's the chick in it? Now this could be a thing of there could be two movies with the same title.
What's the chick from Caroline in the City? Damn it, I cannot. Leah? No, not. I don't know, man.
Oh fuck!
Man, we're way off. We went
Fuck.
so far.
Son of a bitch!
As soon as Grayson
Sorry,
said
I
he'd
threw-
never seen Red
You
Dawn,
bring up
I
Red
threw it
Dawn
way
and
off.
and it all goes to hell, Grayson.
Well, sorry about that.
No,
I was also thinking about a completely different movie.
I gotta know now who that chick is, or I'm just gonna like think
I thought
about it
Red
the whole
was in the
podcast.
title. But
it's damn it, it's
well, intermission.
Okay, I got it pulled up. So it's Leah Thompson.
Thank you. Man,
Man, I should have known that.
And Jennifer Grey is in it as well.
I should have known that.
Charlie Sheen, C. Thomas Howell. Yeah, no, there's all sorts of. The new one had Adrian Pelicki. What's her? Oh, what she was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, I can't think of her name either. And then it also had from Drake and Josh.
Yeah.
And then Chris Helmsworth was in it.
Josh Peck.
Yep. Yeah. I actually really like Josh Peck. I'm surprised I missed that. I'm excited for his Turner and Hooch on Disney Plus. It's going to come out. That's going to be pretty dope.
They're remaking Turner and Hooch?
Yeah, with Josh Peck. Yeah.
God, is there anything they won't remake?
No, but what is the deal with that?
Nostalgia.
So what are they going to do when it runs out? Like, is it always
you never
because it ends up not being nostalgia anymore if we constantly have it in our lives.
No, it totally does. Because everybody's nostalgic about different things.
And also, I guess there's a new generation of kids that didn't have the first one, and now they have the second one or the fourth one, to come up to. So.
Yeah, no, and they don't. Hell, half the shit we watched was remakes.
No, that's incorrect, my friend.
Yeah, no.
Ghostbusters was definitely not a remake.
No, it wasn't a remake.
Alien was definitely not a remake.
Okay.
Terminator was definitely not a remake.
No, that's true.
Should I keep going?
I'm with you. There's also some original ideas and concepts that we've got coming out. But if you watch the Mission Impossible movies,
yeah,
that's from a show back in the 60s and 70s.
That was from a show. So they took old shows, turned them into modern movies. I think that's okay. They did that with Addams Family too.
21 Jump Street.
21 Jump Street. Big fan of those movies, by the way. Those don't get enough credit.
They're a lot of fun.
They are
every time
I've
watched them, they're super entertaining.
Yeah, they are a pretty good time.
I'd watch a third one even.
I was wondering if they'd ever do that or not. I don't know if Channing Tatum has gotten too big to do those, or maybe Jonah Hill's gotten too big. I know he's pulling in all the good roles here lately. But anyway, back to Joe Biden, in doing that shit.
Good detour. Anyways, he launched a strike against those, but it was really just a check. Hey guys, we're still here. You guys can't just
do whatever the fuck you want.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's really what it was. They said it was a very measured response.
One of my criticisms of Obama, I thought Obama was a good president, but I thought his use of drones was a little bit of abusive. He used drones quite a little bit, and I think there's from some of the stuff I've seen, and granted I don't have any facts or I can't tell you where to go on the internet to find it, but it looked like that some of those strikes that Obama had done, there was a lot of civilian casualties, a lot more than normal. But I think that's just what you get with a drone, right? That's just kind of how it is. You got to, and these guys, the enemy's one of those ones, and I say the enemy like I'm fighting them, but America Patriot. But anyway, so, the people you're fighting against, they dig in around a lot of communities and stuff like that too. So it's it's kind of a weird, weird deal.
They're in the communities. War is just it's so much different than you watch in the movies,
and it's also hard. And I'll even say this: it's hard to make those decisions when you're the motherfucker making those decisions. We could sit here and
life or death.
Armchair, army commander all day, but when it's actually life and death and the decisions you're making, it's pretty crazy. Some of the stuff.
You talk about drones, but there's definitely what definitely. There won't be a casualty of if we use drones? Americans.
No, I 100% agree with that. Yeah.
It's an unmanned, and so I get the love relationship with drones.
Well, they're really fuel efficient, right? They cheap.
So much cheaper.
They're cheap, so much cheaper than a jet, right? The jet has the opportunity to be shot down.
You have lawyers in the same room as the person that pulls the trigger,
right.
Essentially. So
yep. So you
have legal there.
Yeah, your ass is covered. Everything's recorded too, that. So
it's any wonder why he wouldn't have been this is great. Fucking drone it.
Drone it, yeah.
Send it.
Nobody else is wearing a uniform. They're all you said they use the communities. They're in the community.
They are. They dig in.
They're just
So it's a tough situation. I'll even go back and like I'm not trying to be biased of Biden either. You know, I'll go back and say that about Obama, and I'll say that with George W. Even you can even go back to Iraq, and I know Clinton even had some stuff too. Where you know Kosovo. That was what you were going to say. And everybody remember that movie Wag the Dog had just came out, and everybody was kind of comparing the two.
Yeah.
Then like I remember that was a thing where they were saying like, oh, Bill Clinton's faking these because of the Monica Lewinsky
If
thing.
one thing Fallout has ever taught me, it's war never changes.
My numbers are down. I could really use get a war bump. Let's just.
Well, I mean, he got the you spend a lot of money on these missiles. We got to shoot these motherfuckers sometime or another, Like, we don't want them to go bad over here. Like, we got to get these bitches rolling. But I'm in a cussing mood today. I don't know if you guys noticed that. This is unedited Tyler tonight.
Like in like medieval fantasy novels, like whenever you have an army, like that's one of the things. Is it a blooded army? Is it an army that's fought somebody before?
And also, when you have a big army, it's like, man, my army's at full max power. Like, I've been really wanting that other kingdom over there. Like,
my neighbors grow a lot of wheat, and that could come in handy.
I could use a summer house castle over there. Like,
while you guys are here, now that we're done with this war,
yeah.
Right.
Before I send you guys back, why don't we go invade over there?
Right. There's too many of you around here. Go over there.
Do you guys think you would have been able to live back in like the medieval time?
Absolutely not.
I think where it would have get. I don't think that there's some things like I think the whole like being a knight and stuff like that would be cool, and having swords and like and being able to hunt. I mean I'm talented enough with a bow. I think I would have been able to make my way through.
But that's the thing. Is your bloodline talented enough?
Well, I am a noble. I have a castle in England, the Hicks Castle. I'm a noble.
Well, there you go.
My lineage goes all the way back to my 23rd great grandfather.
Well, there you go,
Sir Michael Hicks.
Well, I would have been an absolute peasant eating gruel, and it would have not been fun. Like I probably would have froze to death, died of a cold in my 20s.
That's what I was saying.
That's harsh.
I mean, I don't know what I would have done because it's not like we're going back in time.
There's three things.
It's not like Grayson's going back in time and he's Grayson.
I thought that was the scenario.
He's
if the lights turned off tomorrow.
Yeah,
I could survive that.
He's Grayson.
Yeah. I'm saying going back in time and just living like.
I could do that.
I see, that there's three things that would really get to me, and one would be like the toilet paper situation. Like I was thinking like that. Yeah, there is none. Like that would be a gross fucking situation, my friend.
What about your yearly bath?
And like, I think you could take baths a little bit more frequently. You'd wash a lot. I think they would wash a lot with like water and cloths.
Yeah.
I'd have some like servant ladies, give me some
Grayson, just because
I'd be a noble.
Just because
you're noble.
I'd be a lord.
Again, I'm referring to my peasant life.
I would have servants. They wouldn't be slaves. They would be paid very minimally,
just with because food and shelter.
Hey, that's a pretty big thing back in the day, as you're saying.
Right,
stable boy.
Didn't they call them serfs? Isn't that what they were? They were serfs.
They worked your kingdom.
But that's not. The thing is, like you get to shower not shower, but you do get to bathe more. Because they don't bathe, if you're going back in time, like you could
bathe more. Like,
I'm saying like. Again, I thought this was like we were born in the medieval times and we adopted their customs. Because if we went back with our knowledge now, yeah, of course, anybody could.
Yeah, I would rule the fucking world. What are you talking about?
Anybody could live like a king coming back with like today's knowledge.
I don't know.
Is
that true though? Like okay.
Are you going to go and build toilet paper? No. So number one is toilet paper. That would still be a difficulty.
There's a lot of like really basic shit that you could show them to like forever change their life.
I guess that's true. I'm just trying to figure out how much innate knowledge that I have that it would actually help me in a scenario in which I went back to like medieval times.
And for me,
because I don't think that like my vast like sports knowledge from the 1990s is really going to help me in that situation.
You could create a sport and then bet on the sport and live like a king.
That is true.
I could invent sports.
So
I could invent a lot of stuff.
They have sports. Like your sports would just change. It'd be like the sword fightings and the tournaments, the tourneys. Like it would be jousting and sword fights. You'd have knife throwing competition, archery competitions, like stuff like that would be the sports. That's what they would do.
What do you know, Grayson, that would really help you out? Because I'm sitting there going, well, yeah, but like there's like advanced medicine, but it's like I'm not a biologist, so like eat moldy bread, you'll feel better. Like I don't like.
I think
the big thing would be washing your hands.
Right, the understanding of mechanics and some like basic like medical knowledge. I think that would be huge. Also, I think that you have enough information that you could tell smarter people of the time that would then create the things that you need.
And also, I could distill some 99% alcohol,
right?
And that would be something worth noting. Like
a lot of little things.
Knowing
like
how to do stitches, I could come up with a good stitch. I could stitch somebody back together. I think.
Well, I think they could stitch.
I don't know if they could or not. I don't know when
they make clothes.
They could, but some rudimentary stuff.
Okay.
Like same thing with like
I guess they did to make clothes.
Mechanics.
Like if you're talking about like corn and
potatoes, that
potatoes,
brings me to my second thing though. You brought up clothes. The second thing would be clothes. Like you wouldn't have very good underwear if you'd have underwear at all. And like I'm pretty picky about my underwear. I like really nice underwear, man. And then the other thing is like you would never have like sweatpants or Nikes or anything like that. Like that would really suck. Like that would get annoying to me.
Yeah, because you can't make like I know that it would be awesome to have rubber on the bottom of my shoes.
Yeah, but I'm not a scientist.
But I don't know how to make rubber.
I may be able to, but I could never form it into a Nike.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to be able to do that.
And with that day's technology, it would take you a lifetime just to get to where rubber was manufactured, like the rubber trees. Like it would take you 2 years to get there, and then you bring it back, and like someone's like, "Oh, so we're gonna send."
I didn't even know that rubber came from rubber trees. So you're even
yeah, I didn't even know that.
And I don't even know what
I thought it was made out of
what
oil.
part of the world are rubber trees indigenous to?
Like tropical rainforest area.
Okay, so I'm assuming we're in Europe.
I've heard of them.
Yeah. Like right, medieval times we're in Europe.
The rubber tree secretes a rubber-like substance, and it's just like it comes out as a liquid, and then it solidifies into rubber.
Do they mix it with like petroleum?
Yeah, you can mix it with a bunch of other ingredients, but rudimentary rubber is just from a tree.
I knew this, but
that's
I'm blown away by
basic
it.
stuff.
I've heard it.
Rubber for tires. Yeah, that's 100%.
Everybody, facts with Grayson.
I don't think that I would rule the world.
Okay, so can I give you my third thing that I think would be a no-brainer?
Absolutely.
And maybe like you guys, I know have a significant other and stuff, and I'm the single guy here, but man, just like the bushy, like hairy badges, man. That's got to be rough, dude.
This is unedited.
That's got to be rough.
Tyler.
So, like,
well, I mean, yeah, because they didn't, there was no shaving of the pits.
I mean, for the girls too, right? Like, I mean, it's got to be a
you
jungle.
Have a beard, but I like to keep my shit trimmed up, and I wouldn't have a trimmer or anything. Like,
so that's another. So sharpening. Medieval people didn't have a ton of knowledge on sharpening. That is something all three of us could show off. Like you could sharpen.
Braden's like, I don't know.
I don't know.
He's like, what are you talking about? All three.
You work in a hardware store.
You know what I would do?
Firearms. That's another thing.
Like
that's
it would
basic.
I could figure that out probably. Yeah.
I feel like I would be a pretty good tactician. Like, and I think about that like in the Civil War and the Revolutionary War where they like all went into the middle of the field and they just shot each other.
Yeah.
Like point blank range. And I was like, man, if I went back there.
Well, it'd be like Game of Thrones. This would be like, like the
Brandon
Battle of the
kicks
Bastards.
in the door. Guys, wait. How about we not just stand in lines and shoot at each other?
Yeah.
Why don't we make this?
Let's send a couple guys to the side.
Let's make this barrier, and then we have a couple guys like carry the barrier in front of us.
But it would piss me off because I like walk in and I'd be like, okay, so I like your plan, except for it sucks. So why don't I make my plan, and that way we win? And I'll be like, did anybody get that reference? No, because I'm in fucking medieval times. So, I'd be a really lonely person.
Was that a Tony Stark reference?
That's a Star Lord to Tony Stark.
Oh, Star Lord.
Yeah.
There we go.
I just watched that one.
No, I would hope that any average person, if they got transported back to medieval times, could impart some type of knowledge and be able to survive for a little bit.
I think penicillin would probably be around a little bit sooner. Like, because I have a rudimentary.
You'd be like, hey, try this out.
I can't make penicillin, but I'm like, man, there's something about bread mold and being able to like harness that. Like I'm telling you guys, it's good stuff. Like
You could just drop a bug in somebody's ear who may have some kind of understanding of like basic
an alchemist,
medicine back then.
alchemist.
I don't know. I think it could be interesting though. That could be fun to do. But I don't. But those three things though would almost be a deal breaker on living there. I think I'd visit, but I don't think I could live there.
Your understanding of genetics. You go buy 2 really big horses and you breed them together, and you get another big horse. You got like big horse farm, like that. That is not an understanding that they had. Or the same thing like cow. Any type of animal husbandry. You have like this great knowledge that puts you
also
ahead of the
forging.
game.
Like we know like forging how to forge metal a lot better.
And that's like, I don't understand what elements I would need to combine to create good metal, but yeah, we would then be able to come up with.
I think they would have steel. Just the fact of being able to like forge, like taking different blocks, like 7 or 8 blocks of steel and forging those together, and the fact that they make stronger metals. Like I don't know if they would known that yet.
Know when to add carbon.
I guess that depends. Yeah, knowing when to add carbon and stuff like that.
Throw some bone in there.
Yeah. That is stuff that would definitely be helpful. But if you can get past the stinky hairy badges, I don't know. Like I don't know if I could do it or not.
I just think the whole world would smell back then.
No, it would.
Yeah, I think
right? There's
no
deodorant either.
There would definitely be an odor throughout.
No
everywhere.
Plumbing.
You shit in a pot by your bed, right? And it gets taken out like once a day.
Yeah, no.
Or you just go outside and shit in the woods, like if you're a peasant, like Grayson said he would be.
That would be me.
I don't think you would be. I don't think you'd be a peasant, Grayson. I think you'd make
thief.
You'd make it higher. Brandon, you too. You'd make it higher. Not as high as me because I'd be a lord, but like a noble and have a castle. But you guys would definitely be friends of me, and so you guys would have some kind of status.
I think if the lights turned out tomorrow, though, that would be a different. Like if tomorrow we lost all technology or the grid went down.
They made a show about that called Revolution.
Is that where they fight with swords instead of
Yeah.
guns? I liked
because everything like kind of weird, right? Because it's
how does a gun stop working?
The guns are still work, but after a
Bullets.
while they run out of. They run out of stuff. They can't manufacture anything.
Oh, there you go.
So like technology just shuts off. Like all of electricity doesn't work. It was an okay show.
Yeah, I remember it has that dude from ER was in it, right?
I don't know.
I don't remember his name. But I thought he was in it.
It had a conglomerate of a bunch of people.
It had a little cult following and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, there was he was in. There was a one of the main characters that was in it was also in a show called Zoo. So I've watched.
Yeah, it's
him.
That's that Noah guy. He was on ER.
Oh, I didn't know he was on ER.
Yeah, shout out ER. That was a good show.
Hashtag 90 sitcoms.
ER was a drama, my friend. Like it was a good one. Like
I couldn't tell you
that George Clooney Thanksgiving special of ER back in the day. Man, that was a tearjerker.
Again,
man.
I've never watched ER.
I have no idea.
Dude, it's actually a pretty
good.
good show. Like George Clooney was in it. It's actually pretty good.
Are you talking about Noah Wiley?
Yeah.
No, he wasn't in Revolution. He was in Falling Skies.
Oh, maybe it was Falling Sky. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
And that's also a good movie or a good show. It was on for like 4 seasons. But that one's aliens. Aliens take over the over the world. I've watched a lot of shows. I've been watched a lot.
Maybe I thought he was in the Revolution too, but maybe not.
No.
Oh well.
What do you guys think about?
I think I was thinking about Rambo 3 earlier because that's set in the Soviet Afghanistan invasion.
I don't know if I've seen Rambo 3.
You've never seen Rambo 3? At the end, the Taliban actually are the heroes.
Oh no! I used to have,
Maybe that's what
I used
it
to
was.
have some action figures. Yeah,
the Taliban horse soldiers come in and like save the day. I mean, it was made long before, right?
Right.
Like
it was back when we still supported.
A lot of people, yeah. Like, so you guys ever seen Charlie Wilson's War?
yeah.
No, I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
Based on a
That's
on
a
true
George
story.
Clooney movie, right? Or
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks, yeah. And
Get off the ER.
I know. It's Tom Hanks and Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but it's about how we backed basically the Taliban.
Yeah.
We backed them against the Soviets when the Soviets invaded Afghanistan. And so that was right around the time that Rambo 3 came out, and so the Taliban come and save the day at the very end of the movie and stuff. it's kind of weird right now.
I mean, it's
That
just
It
movie-
didn't
probably-
age well.
It's probably been canceled.
But Charlie Wilson, at the end of the movie, it's really, really good because we sink all this money and all these weapons into Afghanistan to arm them to fend off the Russian invaders. So it works, right? Like Russia retreats, and then Charlie Wilson can't get it. Like he was getting billions, like hundreds of millions, I should say. And then he couldn't get $10 million to rebuild a school in Afghanistan at the end of the movie. They were like, oh, yeah, that's way too much. And he's like, you're kidding me. Like, I used to have like a $250 million budget to give them weapons. And they're like, yeah, but it's over now. And like that. And then literally that at the end of the movie, you go, oh, that's why they fucking hate us.
See, this is how it all connects, because this connects right back to Joe Biden and the Syria thing. You know, it's just like they're doing this now, but, you know, then when it actually comes to doing like some kind of humanitarian effort or something like that, they just don't have the money for it.
Yeah,
you know?
nobody's hands are clean in this situation.
I mean, at least they're not lying, right? Because they don't have the money to do anything here either. You know, here in America, Flint still has bad water, and
yeah, because infrastructure isn't sexy.
People still pollute in lakes and stuff like that. Speaking of Julie Roberts, Erin Brockovich, I follow her on Facebook, and she's always talking about. I seen a thing that was she posted earlier. It was about manatees in Florida, and one of the big problems is that Florida has is a lot of their sewage goes right out into the ocean, and it's killing a lot of the fish and plant life that's right out there, right off the coast, and it's basically turning the whole coast of Florida into a giant sandbar. And so, like manatees and stuff like that used to eat there are no longer eating there, and they're dying out, and they're like not showing back up. And it's just like guys, why can't we just like take care of our shit, man?
Why can't we have nice?
Because it costs money,
like
and it's not sexy.
yeah, people just don't want to put money into it, I guess. Like, but I mean, it's just like, don't do that. So it's like, you know, like it ain't like, I guess it may cost you money to not dump your shit into the ocean.
No, yeah,
but you got to figure something else out.
Where are you going to put the sewage?
At least if you're going to dump it like 30 miles out.
You know, if
dump it where it's really deep, you know,
Right.
like, you know, send it to where it's like shooting off real deep in the ocean. That'd probably fuck something up.
Right,
too.
again,
and
there's
it
no
would
good place
also,
for it.
Godzilla would come out and be like, "What the fuck?"
At the
guys?"
beginning of
Godzilla.
Joe, a shit turd Godzilla. You know, this reminds me though of a beginning of one of Joe Rogan's stand-up comedies, like one of the first ones on Netflix. He had this take about how humans are actually here to kill the planet, like we're the mold, we're the virus here to like destroy it, like that's our job, and that's why we'll never do anything but like everything we'll do ends up being we'll never do anything but our job is we're here to eat we're the mold here to eat the moldy that's a sandwich. We're here to eat it.
An absolutely pessimistic view.
It's kind of fucked up, but it also, I guess it could justify
funny,
you know, throwing that bottle out the window or whatever. I'm not saying Joe Rogan does that, but he probably does.
I'm not saying he does that, but he does.
Joe Rogan.
We've
We've already. This is a callback to like the second or third episode. Like Joe Rogan will come and kick your ass.
Yeah, that's true.
Door flies open.
That is true.
Just
Kick to the face.
rips our skulls.
No, but the fact of the matter is that you got people that want to spend a shitload of money on war because war is sexy to them, and then if we're not in a war, then like we need to feed the hungry and like we need to house the homeless, and so then they're like, well, we need $250 million to clean up the oceans, and they're like, why are we spending $250 million to clean up the oceans when we can't even, you know, house our homeless? I mean, everybody's got a priority.
Well,
and it's right now the priority, and it has to build votes, right? There's just not enough people that care about the ocean. Like you're not going to win any elections saying, "Hey, I want to clean up the ocean."
And
I have a take on this.
it's also a global problem. So like if we solve it here in America, that still means that there's the rest of the world that.
Well, and everybody kind of runs on the same token, right? Like, I mean, that's not an American thing. That's a global thing.
But so when it comes to like, you know, how we don't have homeless and stuff, one of the things is I grew up in church, right? And I grew up learning the Bible and stuff like this. And one of my biggest problems I have with churches is in the Bible, it specifically says that the church's job is to take care of the homeless. Like that is their job, is to do that. And then we have these giant mega churches and these like assholes like that Olseen guy, or is that his name? Joel Olseen.
Yeah.
Like we have this guy, he's got these mega fucking churches, and then he complains about opening up when Houston's got a flood.
Right.
And it's just like, that's part of the problem right there. Is like, these churches need to start doing their part if they really are who they say they are.
But they're not, and we know that.
Well, and I don't want people to take offense if you're a Christian or whatever, but yes, they don't do anything Christian like, and it's really aggravating.
When I was really into RC cars, I used to take it up to a big church parking lot because my opinion was they're not paying property tax. So if I'm paying property tax on it, it's public space for me to use.
But it's not, though. They get it private. It's private.
Exactly. One day, a police officer rolled up on me. He's like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "Driving my RC car around." He's like, "Well, whenever the battery dies, clears out." I'm like, "Well, I'm not like hurting any. Like, what if I have a couple other batteries?" He's like, "No, this is private property." It's like, I'm literally not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
All the lights on are out here too. Like, but oh well. So I just packed up my stuff and went along. Oh well.
See, it's fucked up. That's I don't know. I don't want to shit on religion.
I'm sure I could talk to.
It's not
the
shitting
church.
on religion. I think there's a lot of religious people, and there's a lot of people that would consider themselves Christian that say that mega churches aren't real church.
There's still
Absolutely.
I don't want to again, a church that I grew up in. A lot like some people left the church because they decided to build this addition that was like massive, that cost like $500,000 or something, and some people didn't want to spend the money. And for me personally, it's like, yeah, the addition they built is really nice and it holds a lot more people and they have more people come and stuff like that. But it's like, you could have done a lot of good if you would have spent $250,000, half that much, and just gave it to like the local community and helped homeless people.
And that kind of comes back to that when it's life or death. It's a tough call to make. Like it's interesting. Like I can see both sides to building the addition to maybe bring more funds to do more good.
To have it to I think there's a lack of doing good.
If you don't then after you grow use that for charity.
No, you just build another addition.
You just build another addition. Exactly.
You get more followers, the bigger your church, the more people.
That's what it always was.
That's what
more amenities.
I went to several different churches, my friends' churches and stuff like that, and they would do bake sales and stuff, but it was always went back to the church. And I never seen the church really doing a whole lot for the community. They might donate some money to somebody. Right, if somebody passed away and the family needs money, they might give them like $1,000 or something. But a lot of these churches have, I bet, $1 million in their bank account.
And maybe they view it as they enrich the congregation, which then goes out and enriches the community, which that could happen. But again, that's such a small fraction of that congregation. I'm sure there's plenty of charitable people that go to church and then pass on that kindness.
There's a lot of churches that run like soup kitchens and stuff like that.
There's
that's kind of
a lot of those though are Catholic churches and stuff like that.
A lot of they try to do that community outreach thing, but at the end of the day,
but if you're, I guess what I'm getting at is if you're part of a church, try to organize your church to do more charitable stuff like that. I think it would be good.
My big thing is cash is king. At the end of the day, nothing benefits a person in need more than
some money,
than some straight up money.
Yep.
Money, grocery, something to pay their rent, gas money.
Yeah, and so that happens too. I've heard of churches around here that if you're part of the congregation, you go and you hey, I can't pay my electric bill. There's churches that'll pay someone's electric bill or something like that.
I don't think that happens enough. I think
probably not.
They should do that. They should reach out to, even if they're not a member of the church. That's a way to go get a member, is maybe hey, just go out and do something good for them. Hey, we're gonna pay your electric this month. Just give me the bill and I'll write the check, send it in, and it'd be paid. That would be something you could do for somebody who may be down and out that'd really help them. But I just don't see that happening. But maybe I'm wrong. And if you're if your church does that, and I also don't think I'm shitting on you. Congratulations, that's awesome.
I also understand that's
really cool.
If there are churches out there that are doing tons of charity, why they might not want to advertise that, just because that could maybe appear that they're just gloating or using it for attention.
Or you'll just get a wave of people that are help me. Why are you helping them?
I don't like that excuse. That's not a good excuse for me. But because again, that's the whole purpose of it. If your doors are getting knocked down because so many people are in need, I think that rallies more people to your cause, and you can say, look at all these people in need.
No, it's scary, but anytime any entity, church is that's a good example, but right, like we talk about GoFundMe too. Like anytime there's an entity that's supposed to do this, it ends up perpetuating or showing us a giant problem in our society. Right. So now with GoFundMe, you can't use GoFundMe the way that GoFundMe was intended to be used. Now you basically either it's because you don't have health insurance, or you don't have good health insurance, or somebody died and you can't afford their funeral.
Yeah, or they left their family in a rough spot or something.
Exactly, or you're taking care of the family that they left.
Right.
So that's GoFundMe now, right? It's just like one sad, depressing story after another. And that would be the church too, if they were like, "Hey, yeah, we paid these 10 people's like utility bills," and then all of a sudden in waves, people are coming. Right. Well, I need my utility paid. I'm having a rough time too, and it would just show a perpetuating problem. Why can't you guys pay your electric bill? And the answer is because we don't have a $15 minimum wage. That was a transition right there. Did you guys see that? We wanted to talk about the $15 minimum wage.
We definitely have depressed wages regardless of what you think the minimum wage should be set to. Are everybody's wages in America.
Tyler had a lot of he was talking before the show that he had a lot to talk about with his $15 minimum wage, and that he was torn on it. What are you torn about?
Well, it's a weird thing, right? So I do think that places like Walmart and McDonald's and a lot of these fast food companies and stuff like that need to pay more money. And one of the reasons is they're a big employer, Amazon in particular. And even though we can get into the Amazon thing here in a minute, I think this is kind of fucked up. But McDonald's and Walmart makes a shit fuck ton of money. So they really need to pay all their people a decent wage. It probably should really be more than $15. Because if you're really looking at it as how much money that they make as a company and to how much they're paying their employees, it's kind of fucking ridiculous. They should pay their employees based on, the amount of money they're making. But, the Walton family makes $200 billion a year or some shit I seen like that. Or it was something ridiculous like that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought I could have swore it was $200 billion a year.
A lot of the Waltons are in the top 10 richest people in America.
But,
probably in the world.
Yeah, that's the family in general. It's not one person. That's the whole family.
Multiple family
members making that kind of money. So that's why when you really look at it, it's there's only 4, I don't know how many family members are. I think there's a lot, honestly, but I mean it's still a lot of fucking money. And it's what if these guys all took $1 billion pay cut and just put that to their employees? That would be way better, and it'd be better for the economy, better for individuals, it'd be better for everybody.
It's upsetting to see the statistics for how much it would cost to end homelessness or the issues we have with the VA medical clinic.
Right.
You see the dollar amount, what it would cost to fix those programs, and it's still less than what some of these people, what their net worth is. And they could give that away and still be richer than anybody could ever bat an eye out.
And same thing. I'm same thing with because I know McDonald's gets hit really hard with the $15 an hour thing. Maybe it should just be minimum wage, $15 an hour for McDonald's people. It's not that skill intensive of a job, but it's pretty hard. I definitely don't. I've never worked fast food because it looks like it's difficult, and I never want to. So those guys deserve getting paid. Sorry if it's gonna make your fucking Big Mac $1 more.
Right. Sorry if the McRib doesn't come back as often.
Yeah, but this person also needs to be able to pay rent and a car payment if they need to. And
if you haven't noticed, the McDonald's prices have already gone up $2 or $3 over the past several years.
Oh yeah,
and their wages have not.
I mean, a little bit. I think they pay more than minimum wage. They pay $10.
They pay really good.
For fast food, right?
Exactly.
Most time it's $9 or $8 or $9 for fast food, and I think they pay $10.
So the big thing, the big opposition of a $15 minimum wage, and they've got several fingers, right? One is it's going to cause everything to go up.
See, I don't believe that. I don't think that it's going to make everything go up. For one, because they do this in other countries and stuff. You don't go to Sweden and pay $23 for a fucking cheeseburger. I don't think you're going to do it here either. People just won't buy them.
It will go up. But the question is okay, in 1990, a Big Mac, and I just looked this up, was $2.45
Yeah, now it's like $6.
Yeah. So it's...
I know Big Mac's my go-to number one, dog.
Yeah, but that went up exponentially.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's more than double.
Yeah.
But since then, the minimum wage has went up $5.65 to $8.65. So my question is like, what are you talking about? Mm-hmm. Shit keeps going up anyways.
Well,
right.
We're just not getting paid enough. I used to be able to work an hour and get a Big Mac value meal. Now I have to work an hour and a half to get a Big Mac value meal. That's not how that should work.
I think my big thing, where I'm torn with this is small business owners. And the guys who are only making,
people
like
one or two
$80,000,
employees.
$90,000, $100,000 a year. They only got 2 or 3 employees. Some of those are part time, and and they may not pay them minimum wage. They may pay them $10, $12 an hour. But, now they have to pay them $15 an hour, and it's like they're not, probably can't jack up their prices a whole lot, compared to what some of these bigger retailers can do. Or they may have to jack them up more than what some of these big retailers do.
Do other wages go up? Right? Other wages have to go up.
Right, like the people making
people that are making
now.
$15 an hour right now that are making... I think Missouri's minimum wage is $8.65 right now.
So is it going to go? Is it going to
like so?
Are you going to get a 50% raise?
Yeah, like are they making $22 an hour?
See,
now?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think.
If I'm making $15 an hour right now, like we say that's kind of decent money.
What if you make?
It's really hard to actually live on $15 an hour if you're trying to support a family. $30,000 is not a lot of money a year.
If you have a family, that's the truth.
It's like probably like $32,000 a year. But if you have what if you have a job that pays like $14 an hour? Are they going to just like increase you to 15, or are you going to get increased to like 20?
Yeah, because who wants to do like if you're doing $15 an hour work, and you've got some sort of specialty. Like if I'm making $15 an hour doing what I am with the stress that my job has, and I can make that $15 an hour flipping burgers, not giving a shit. Like, why wouldn't people just do
Absolutely.
that $15 an hour flipping burgers? So, like, the other wages would exponentially have to go up, too. Like, if you're a janitor in a school, and right now you're making $13 an hour, and then minimum wage goes up to $15, so you get up to $15. But, like, who wants to have to clean toilets for a living if you don't have to, when you can go be a gas station attendant and really
or just go be an aisle stalker at a grocery store
and make $15 an hour.
Yeah,
like there are jobs that we pay a little bit more for that we'll have to continue to pay a little bit more for because there's only a select few people that'll do.
I hope they.
Capitalism will figure it out.
I hope they do. I think that it needs to happen. Like I do think the $15 wage needs to happen because I think. It's the best thing for everybody. It's the best thing for all the people involved. And I know some people who, I feel like if you think that $15 an hour is not a good idea, then you are probably way better off than the average person. Like
so another thing that you hear is like Social Security. I saw.
Oh yeah, so your payment will go up in Social Security.
Your payment will go up in
Social Security will have more money.
The reason being that $15 an hour. The government's going to take their portion. Social Security is going to take their portion. The portion's going to be larger because you're making more money, which is going to add a surplus to the Social Security. But
I feel bad for the small business owners in this. Like that's where I feel bad about.
But your Social Security payment isn't going to go up.
No,
though.
Johnny Morris is one that needs to pay his fair share.
He's a small business owner.
He's not. That is not a small business, my friend. Like he owns Bass Pro and Cabela's now.
It's a little bit.
Didn't he buy Cabela's for like $1 billion?
Doesn't he still own Brown Derby?
Yeah, they own Brown Derby and Tracker Boats.
Yeah,
like it's definitely not a small business anymore.
The small business number, it's relatively large. Like it can be how many employees does it need to qualify?
I'm talking like the mom and pop shops, the people who have like you talk about like 1 or 2 employees.
What you're talking about, one brick and mortar store that does one thing.
Like for instance, we used to the other day I went to a fly fishing shop here in town, right? Like the guy who owns that fly fishing shop, he has like one employee that comes in and works like the night shift for him and like a weekend day.
Yeah.
And it's like, now that guy, like he probably pays that guy decent. I'm guessing that guy makes $11, $12 an hour. Like it's not, I say it's decent, but I'm advocating for $15. But it's like, like here in Missouri, $12 an hour. If you're a single dude, you could probably make it on that. It's going to be kind of rough, but you could make it.
I think, honestly, and I said this to the person that was talking about Social Security, and the minimum payment needs to be $15 times 40 to pay for Social Security, and that Social Security would crumble if all of a sudden everybody got 15 times 40 at minimum. Because the minimum Social Security is not $600 a week, $2,400 a month. That is not the minimum Social Security. My answer to him was one, Social Security was never supposed to be retirement. It was supposed to be a supplement.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a supplement.
But too many people are retiring with no retirement and just Social Security, and they're living on Social Security.
Or they're getting their Social Security garnished from their student loans, Theo. Because back in the 90s, when all the 80s and 90s, when all the companies left America, like Zenith TV and stuff like that, maybe in the 70s, late 70s, but Zenith and a lot of those American manufactured companies that were built here, what they would do is whenever they come in, they shut down the plant, they would give you a thing to where they would pay for like your first year of college or 2 years of college or something for you. They'd basically get you an associate's degree. Well, a lot of people are taking that, and then they would also, like a company would do, they would hook you up with how to get government student loans and stuff like this. So people were taking out student loans to help supplement them while they were off work doing their school, and then they get out and they get a job. Well, now they have a student loan payment, so they're worse off than what they were before.
Right. Yeah, that's terrible.
So the Social Security argument, $15 an hour, like it holds water in the sense that not everybody could, like, we couldn't do that. We couldn't. And if prices for stuff goes up, if $15 an hour makes prices go up, because your mom and pop dilemma, like, how does he fix that? Well, his prices will go up.
Yeah, his prices will have to go up more, but the problem with that is that, like, Walmart won't jack up their prices as much because they're making so much fucking money anyway. They're not going to jack them up as much what the mom and pa guy is going to have to do. Because, like you said, if he's making $12 an hour, he's probably going to have to make $20 after this to be able to keep his job, unless more jobs are going to be considered minimum wage, right? So, like, are more jobs going to be considered minimum wage jobs, basically?
I think the other issue, and Grayson said it, he goes, capitalism will figure it out. And the answer maybe isn't $15 minimum wage. That may not be the problem. The problem might not be how much money is in your bank account. The problem might very well be how much shit costs. Maybe if shit was cheaper. And the reason I say that is because of profit margins and pandering to your stockholders. And something that, say, in 1970 that cost a nickel to make, we sold for a dime. Well, that's how it worked. Now
this goes back to the month has to be better than the month last year.
Exactly.
Right?
So, but now, instead of like money or how much money you made, you sold 10 things that cost a nickel. You sold them for a dime, and so you've made 50 cents. However, now, because costs have went up or what have you, that same thing costs 25 cents to make. So you go, oh, okay, so you're charging 50 cents to get that same profit margin. Fuck no, it's $1.69. Like, that's the difference in the profit margin. These companies are making a shitload of money. And it's helping the stockholders.
That's like gas
and
prices.
It perpetuates the middle class going away.
Businesses offering better benefits to attract, because again, if $15 an hour is the benchmark,
you're saying like if that becomes like where there's more minimum wage jobs, more jobs are just $15 an hour.
Exactly. So then it's like, well, I can go flip burgers for $15 an hour at $40 a week, or there's this other place that will pay me $15 an hour, 40 hours a week, but then they also give me the vacation time or
health insurance, decent price, decent health insurance. See, that could be beneficial. Like just like a company,
like for instance, I work in education, so I get like 1 million paid holidays, like, and that's one of the huge. I don't pay anything for health insurance because it's nonprofit. So again, that is the things that nonprofit does to attract talent, is they offer really good benefits. I'm glad
he mentioned education, because I did see something from a teacher on Facebook as well that said that they don't make 14. He goes, I don't make $15 an hour, and I have a master's. I decided to dedicate myself to teaching.
So that's,
he goes, and I make $28,000 a year. And he's like, I donate plasma.
Where's he a teacher at? Because I know a lot of teachers that start out making way more than that.
So it's hard to find a full-time teaching gig
Yes.
where they pay you benefits and you have a parking spot and you have office hours. Most of the people running the education institution are considered per course faculty, so like part-time instructors. They can say, I'll teach.
So is this higher education, like high school?
College.
Okay.
But like high school teachers across the board, like basically what they're saying is if I can make $1 less an hour and flip burgers, then rather than going and getting my master's, and my answer is we should be paying our teachers in this country a hell of a lot more than what we are.
I'd argue with that guy making $28,000 a year because I know what my cousin and my aunt make roughly close to it out in
How much?
a BFE, over 40.
Okay. Okay, so they make over 40.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would think Springfield Public would start their.
They start out at 40.
I would say they'd start out 35, 40, somewhere.
Yeah.
Like
So-
fresh out of college.
Yeah,
So
first
15
year's teacher gets 35 to 40
So
grand.
minimum wage, the minimum wage worker makes $30,000 if we do $15. $10,000 a day, an hour.
But it's
is-
like 32. Yeah.
You're really it's 30. $10,000 or I'm sorry, $10 an hour is $20,000, so that means $15 an hour is $30,000. Okay, it's 32. Sure.
I thought it
okay.
was more than that at
So
40 hours,
you're
but-
saying that the minimum wage full-time burger flipper or the person that checks you out at Walmart
31.2 is what you make it
31.2. Okay, so we're both wrong. At Price is Right rules, I win.
for. Yeah, you do. Yeah.
I do. Okay. So 31.2.
The price is wrong, bitch.
So you're saying that if I go and get a master's degree and I start out my teaching career making $35,000, or I can go be a Walmart checkout person and make 31.2, why would I go get my master's?
Because you have
You get
a
summers
calling to
off.
teach and you get summers off and
$3,800
So,
not good enough.
hold on. If you're telling me like
Also-
I've thought about being a teacher because like 35 to 40 grand a year and
Yeah.
then not having to work like July and August is fucking sounds great.
So
like,
the whole caveat to that, the $31,200 a year, that's working 40 hours a week. So that's 2,080 hours a year.
yeah.
Teachers probably end up working more than that. So
Oh, because
their price per hour probably drops. Again, they have all summers off, but they
they have to grade papers and they're
60 hours
working
a week.
nights and they're doing all that late
Same
night
thing.
shit.
If you coach anything like that, you're traveling with your team. Again, you get paid more. You get a stipend.
Yeah.
coaches make way more money.
for
Guys,
all
it's-
that. But again, so like elementary, middle school, where they're still traveling, like it's not.
But you don't have to have a degree to be a burger flipper, and that's going to cost you about $100,000 these days. So that's
Guys, I consider myself middle class. I live paycheck to paycheck.
yeah. So do I. Yeah.
That's what everybody
Basically.
And I make a heck of a lot
I-
more
I-
than $35,000 a year.
I live paycheck to paycheck. I have a little bit of savings, but I also blow a shit ton of
Yeah,
money
no,
on
you
stupid shit.
maybe you buy some stuff like don't get me wrong, like I've got HBO and I've got the good cable
Yeah.
and I've
So
got
you
the
know-
good internet and I pay for certain things, but at the end of the day, like
You got a nice car. Like,
I do have a decent car.
You got
and
a net worth.
I do.
Yeah.
So, but guys, I don't. A teacher should make as much as I do.
Yeah. One thing that's
Yeah.
interesting, so over 2020, I was actually able to save more money for two reasons. I didn't go on a vacation in 2020. Privileged old me.
Fuck, I haven't been on vacation in years.
Second thing is they suspended all student loan payments for
Yeah.
all of 2020. That was $300 a month that I got to put in my savings
I got
account.
to push back my car payment 3 months. Like they were like, you don't owe they like canceled the interest, and so
Mm-hmm.
I didn't make a car payment for 3 months, and it really put me in a good
Damn.
shape financially.
Should have bought my new truck last year.
And like there's still the student loan payments are still forgiven. And part of my strategy working for a nonprofit is there's federal student loan forgiveness, whereas if you make 120 on-time payments, so that's like 10 years of on-time payments while working for a nonprofit, you can get the remainder of your student loan forgiven. So that's what I'm shooting for.
I guess at the end of the day, what I'm saying is if two people are making minimum wage full time, mom and dad, and they have 2 kids, should they be able to support their family
I think
in
so.
this country
I think so.
without entitlements?
I think with a dual income house with 2 kids, I think the $15 minimum wage, that's like what, 62.4?
Yeah, it's actually about where I'm at.
I would say to me that seems enough to support.
Are we fucked because they didn't do this sooner? Are we fucked because we went too long without adjusting this, and inflation has just overcame prices?
That's where I'm going with this.
Millennials haven't been able to save like the generations before. So like again, millennials have been living paycheck to paycheck.
And it seems like
school.
Talking about this has kind of opened up a few things. Like the teacher point is a good argument. Like it does cost a lot. Like student loans are a lot of money to go and try to get your master's degree and be a teacher or a college professor to only make 30 or 40 grand a year. And when you don't have to have that and you can just go do anything for $15 and make, $31,200 a year, then it does seem like that's more beneficial.
I think that $15 an hour is treating a symptom, and I don't think you treat the symptom. You treat the actual illness. Like and I think that's the problem. I think we're giving people $15 an hour because there are people that don't have enough money. But I think the real problem is why is the money that they have not stretching far enough?
And it's because of
it's because of
inflation
profit
and
margins and everybody trying to make more and more and price gouging and shit that cost a company 25 cents cost, we're selling for $4 instead of things that cost 25 cents we're selling for $1. And I think that's the biggest issue.
That makes sense. And the cost of manufacturing stuff like that has had to gone down, right? Because they keep shipping it to
prices have gone
Indonesia or Malaysia or China or wherever to have it built.
Technology has advanced us to the point mass producing things.
Your phone does not take, like your cell phone, like an iPhone, right? It does not cost but like $80 to produce. Mm-hmm. Most of the cost goes into advertisement and development.
We sell the damn thing for $1,400.
They sell it for $1,400. It's all advertisement and development, like the app development and software development. That's where all the money goes to, is in that.
I guess my question was wrong earlier. I said minimum wage, should they be able to support their family? The real answer is, should those people be able to support their family and also have some semblance of a fun lifestyle? Because you guys were talking about vacations, like they can't afford to go on vacation. That's fucked up. Like if you're working if 2 people are working full-time jobs,
you should be able to take a weekend trip somewhere.
Absolutely. You should be able to go somewhere. Yeah, you should be able to get a phone.
A 4-day or a week.
You shouldn't have to save up 6 months to buy a phone.
Do most employers have a vacation package for their full-time employees?
It's like 2 weeks usually. Most places that I've ever worked has always been like 2 weeks. Minimum. Yeah.
So that's 5.
Very seldom is it 5 days. Like it's usually 2 weeks, and then or to be like one of those things where you work and you accrue so many hours for every hour you work. Those are always the shittiest ones, though. I don't like those type. Like I like the ones where they just like, hey, you get 2 weeks, you get to schedule those whenever you want,
and it's like classified as part of your wage. It's like, oh, by the way, you get 10 days you don't have to be here, and we'll pay you for it.
And then they give it'd be like 2 weeks of vacation or 10 days of vacation. And a lot of times it's 10 days, right? Because that's technically 2 weeks of vacation.
Because it's the same thing. So like back to this, the whole wage discussion at the $15 minimum wage. Can that family afford a family sedan to get around in? A new family sedan, $40,000 probably.
And gas prices being like they are too, like being able to afford gas and shit.
$50-$60 for an oil change, $800 for tires, like. All of this starts adding up, and you're.
But all this stuff is like gone up.
And the answer is no.
Like
they can't. And heaven forbid one of their kids has like diabetes.
Oh shit! If you
it's fucking done.
Yeah,
like that's
if somebody has diabetes, you better hope you got a good insurance.
No, or anything, right? Like fucking Debbie needs. My daughter Debbie needs braces.
I remember when I was a kid.
You're fucked.
I drove a 4-wheeler.
Debbie's gonna have snaggled teeth.
I drove a 4-wheeler through a barbed wire fence, and we waited till Monday when I could go see the primary care physician instead of go to the ER.
Yeah,
because the ER fee is
super fucking expensive.
No. You couldn't afford it. So then, just like again, I think it happened on a Sunday, so it wasn't like I wasn't waiting. It didn't happen on Friday, then waited a whole weekend with a giant gash.
So is that,
I've done that several times. I got a knee when I was like 2 or 3 years old. I don't remember. I may have been like 4, but no, I couldn't have been that old either. I was like 3, and I remember I set up this board with a nail in it trying to catch a cat. I don't know why I thought this worked. I was fucking like 2 or 3. Give me a fucking break. But anyway, I fell on it. fucking nail went right through my kneecap, right? Oh. And I fucking pulled it out. My sister was freaking out. Did I go to the fucking hospital? Fuck no, I didn't go to the hospital. I just got my knee just fucking clicks to this day. It makes like a weird fucking...
No,
I just smoked some weed and it got better, you know? Like, no. But,
didn't you say you were 2 or 3?
Yeah, no, that was a joke. I wasn't smoking weed back then.
No, it should... Yeah, no, I mean, that's really... all of this is the problem. And so then, I know anybody that listens to this podcast and go, oh, they're fucking socialists, right?
Yeah,
because I'm all like anti-capitalism.
I don't know.
I'm not anti-capitalism.
I feel for these people who are struggling and it's hard for them to get anywhere. Like sometimes, you get down and out and like it's hard for you to get back up and I feel like the system kind of keeps you there sometimes. Right. It's hard to, you get a Mick job or a McDonald's job. It's hard to get out from underneath that and like advance yourself, pull yourself forward.
A $3,000 bill should not send you into a spiral that puts you in a situation that you can never get out of.
Right.
And that happens because again, that's what it cost me to get my appendix removed after insurance covered it. I had to pay, I have good health insurance, and then I still had to pay $3,000, and it took me a few years to pay that off.
Right.
65% of the United States, like 65% of the people, would not be able to pay $500 that was unexpected.
Right.
That's
they
crazy.
don't have savings. They don't have a way to pay. If something, it would financially cripple them. If something $500 came up, the answer was, I would not be able to come up with it.
Right.
So that sucks.
No, that's terrible. Because again, $500 isn't much. That's a fender bender in a parking lot.
It's not even a month's rent for me.
That's you drop your cell phone and it gets cracked. It's someone kicks in your front door or breaks a window to try to steal your stuff. I have nothing to steal, so I have to repair a window now.
Yeah, and window repair is expensive.
And then you got this person, who says like, "Oh, you should invest your money." Like,
yeah, right.
Well, anyway, I'm done with this conversation. That's kind of depressing.
Those are nerds. Geeky. What a nerd! Look at the nerds.
Just so you nerds are aware.
I'm a fucking geek.
I'm fucking geek. Exactly. All right.
Weekend Geek. Let's move into some good stuff.
Good stuff. Even though, man, more trauma because that WandaVision episode was pretty.
It was my favorite.
It was a great episode, but it was reliving every bit of her past trauma.
It was great once I realized that we're all kind of. We don't know how to use Google.
Okay,
well, there's a secret episode.
Spoilers moving forward in 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. So Grayson, go ahead.
Yeah, there's one more secret episode.
It's a secret if you didn't know how to use Google, which I had to do after figuring out at the end of this episode. There's definitely another episode.
Right. For those of you that listen to the podcast, we've been talking about the 8 episodes of WandaVision since
there's 9.
Episode 3. There is 9 episodes of WandaVision.
Definitely 9. Yeah.
I didn't even know that until I got done with the 8th episode and was like, what the fuck is that? They ended it that way? And then there comes Tyler on our Discord going, there's 9 episodes and we're idiots. And that's, yep.
Yeah, that's how it was.
We never claimed not to be idiots.
That's true. We're critically unacclaimed. But it was a good episode, though. It was fantastic. It was just kind of run it down. It was basically Wanda reliving her tragedies with
opening sequence was awesome.
Agatha.
Mm-hmm. So the opening scene starts Salem witch trial, and Agatha's tied to a post, and she is getting tried for meddling
in black magic
into some
by
dark
other
magic.
witches, by her covenant.
So do you think that she did it intentionally? Because she kind of implied that she didn't know what she was doing.
No, she totally did it intentionally.
She had every intentions on killing every single one of those
drained
witches.
all of their powers.
I like that too. So the yogurt commercial comes full circle. We see some more shriveled skeletons.
Yep.
So that was nice.
Oh, that is true. That is.
What was the
that's
name
awesome.
of that?
Yo Magic.
Yo Magic. Your magic.
Right, because
Yeah.
she feeds off your magic.
So we talked about that. Is she trying to drain Wanda's power? Is that kind of what she's thinking?
Well, at first she was trying to figure out where the power was coming from.
And because I think she wanted to try to get it, right?
Right. There's part of me that wants Agatha to be somehow redeemable. Like I don't want her to be a bad
guy.
Because man, she's such an awesome character. I love Catherine Hahn. Like everything about that character is so fascinating. Love to watch it.
Can we talk about the source of Wanda's power?
Yeah. So, what do you? Are we going way back to the beginning when she's a little kid?
Yeah,
So,
she had powers when she was a little kid.
So, like, it's a genetic ability.
It's a genetic ability.
Something in her DNA.
Huh. It must have.
But Agatha describes it as like she was a witch. Like she had dormant like magic genes.
Okay.
That's how she explained it,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, no, that's
like
exactly how
she goes, "You were a witch."
Do we have-
it probably would have laid
Is there
dormant.
anything else in Marvel that has something to do with genetics or
Yeah.
dormant abilities?
Or like let's talk about like you talked about things in science, right? Like it was real magic when Thor used the Rainbow Bridge. Mm-hmm. That's magic, or it's advanced technology. Just like Wanda's a witch because she has this power, or
She's a mutant.
she's a mutant. She's a fucking mutant.
She's absolutely a mutant.
And all those witches, they're all fucking mutants. They're all got
So,
mutant powers.
Is Agatha going to be a mutant as well? I think that was my first thought when I kind of started to think about, like, if Wanda is a mutant, would that also make Agatha a mutant?
I don't know. That's a good question.
If all those witches were mutants, because like
My guess is they all share similar DNA, so they all inherited the same mutant gene.
Right. No, I 100% on board. With
There wasn't
all of
another
that.
mutant gene in their bloodline, so they're probably all related somehow, and that's why they all have the same mutant power, witch power.
Right, because the coven is pretty tight knit. So yeah, then we see Wanda as a little kid, and when the Stark missile lands, it doesn't explode. And what is Stark technology known for doing?
Exploding.
It
yeah.
works every time. So how did that happen?
Yeah, Agatha says she used the probability hex, right? And which is cool because she does change a lot of probabilities in
Right.
the Marvel universe.
And I think that's kind of fascinating too, because it's that like an untrained person with power.
Right.
That's what it seems like it's going.
So she was able to save her brother with that, and then it turns out the Infinity Stone didn't give her the power, but enhanced it.
Right, the
Yes.
Mind Stone.
The Mind Stone.
the
Yeah.
Mind Stone, which
That was a sweet sequence.
So-
too.
Oh, it was awesome. Yeah, and then the video was all edited, so you couldn't really see what it was, what had happened
that was really
when they were
cool.
trying to rewind it back. I don't know. The what would you say, Braden?
Well, no. So Scarlet Witch originally in the comic books was Magneto's daughter, and she was always a mutant. So this has some tiebacks to.
Well, in the comic book, she was a mutant, and then they retconned her to where she was an Inhuman, and then Inhumans didn't work on TV, so then they turned him from Inhumans into just where the Beyonder gave him powers in the comic book, and they weren't really Magneto's children. But it wouldn't surprise me now if they don't retcon that back and they don't become Magneto's children. Like,
Well, they can't. You think they're not Magneto's children, right? Because we saw her parents.
well, we saw a father figure and her
That's
mother.
where I was kind of talking, like, she could be adopted as a baby. Like
They could have been like maybe her mom was pregnant before, and
Right, because it was a war-torn area. Like, you would assume that there would be random orphans running around.
She
only
could be a
assume.
mutant without being Magneto's
Absolutely,
daughter.
that's 100% true. Like, Magneto doesn't have to be there for her to be a mutant.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the way we're going, just because.
I don't know, man.
Well, unless they're just going to
Magneto's
rewrite Magneto too, but I assume
I
they're
could
going to
see-
take some of that X-Men shit and make it canon.
Right.
So
Well, I don't think so. I don't think they're going to make that canon. I think a good example of that is the fact that oh boy, who plays Quicksilver, is not going to be Quicksilver in the MCU. That's been declared.
Yeah.
And then
They're not bringing those guys over. I don't think
we get to see Vision completely disassembled. That was also pretty.
that was part of it.
freaking traumatic.
Part of the trauma.
and she didn't steal
And
his
she
body.
didn't steal him. I thought that was pretty fascinating
So-
as well.
So basically, when she got transformed, they gave her these powers to where she can make things just out of
Right.
thin air, right?
Just creation,
Yeah.
spontaneous creation. I
Yep.
think is what old Agnes called it.
And there's only one being that can do that.
Who's that?
That's the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah,
They said it. They did it.
All right.
They said it. They finally called her the.
They
Scarlet
think
Witch.
she got a code name.
That's what I
Code name.
thought. So at the end of the episode, I was sitting there going, so we watched 8 episodes of this show. Mind you, I didn't know about the 9th episode. And I'm sitting there going, so I just watched 8 episodes of this show just to find out that her name is Scarlet Witch. I knew she was the Scarlet Witch from the beginning.
It'd be like watching a Spider-Man movie for it to end with Uncle Ben getting shot.
Yeah, just like, yeah, no, I knew that was going to happen. Like, I already knew.
I thought it was pretty cool how they, revealed her name, and it actually, she may actually be called the Scarlet Witch. You notice they never hardly call any of the superheroes. They call Captain America. They do call Iron Man,
Thor. Because Thor's his name.
Name. Yeah. And they don't really call him the Hulk, though. They call him Banner.
And that's Wanda's name, so that's how you'd get her.
Well, they treat Hulk and Banner two separate human beings.
Not anymore because he's one.
But
same thing like Natasha, they'd call her.
They never called her Black Widow. They never called Hawkeye. They always called him Barton. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's kind of cool that he's got a name now.
And I think that might be what WandaVision is trying to do, whereas Scarlet Vision or Scarlet Witch is a title that someone has, kind of like the Dark Phoenix.
Right. Or the Phoenix, like you hold the title of the Phoenix.
So I think that's what they're going to do with that.
We also find out why all the shows remind us of like our favorite nostalgic TV shows, and that's because she likes to watch TV.
Mm-hmm. In the flashback, her favorite show was Dick Van Dyke when she was a kid, and
that was her form of escapism.
She was watching The Office and Malcolm in the Middle, and that was like the 2 episodes, the modern day episodes. What was the 80s one? Was that Brady Bunch? Is that what that was supposed to be?
Brady Bunch was one.
Brady Bunch was like 60s, 70s.
I can't remember what the 80s TV show
I didn't see it. I don't know. Maybe they mentioned it, but anyway, they're mostly in there. I didn't see a commercial this time. Was there? There wasn't a commercial this go around, right?
Time.
No, because there wasn't a show.
Yeah, there wasn't. The show's. I don't know if it's like it over,
like her reality is now caught
completely open to her.
Yeah, it's caught up to normal.
And
but
the episode ends with Agnes in the street with the 2 kids.
Yeah, she's got them like in like magical ropes around their necks.
Do you think the kids are real?
No.
Yeah, I think they're real,
but
and
I think she created them.
I think she created them too, but I think they're real now because she created them.
Well, Vision's not real, and the reason that we know that is because Vision tried to leave the hex and he got disintegrated back into the hex.
You think if the kids try to leave the hex, they'll disintegrate?
Yeah, I don't think they're. I think they're manifestations that can only survive in the world that she's created.
I'm really interested to see.
I'm interested to see that too,
because I think that those 2 characters have a bigger part to play in the MCU, but I don't necessarily think this is their origin. I could see them disappearing
and then coming back,
and then if Vision and Wanda survive, then they'll have kids. And
so I agree with Tyler. He said this off the pod, but I agree with Tyler. Vision's going to live through this. They're bringing Vision back.
Yeah, Vision's going to be back at the end of this.
The reason being is not because she created him and he's going to be able to live outside the hex, because he can't. It's because of the end credit scene.
Yeah,
right.
So the drone that they took in there in the 80s episode, she'd like shot it down and it was like absorbed her magic, her power. And they took that and they used it to take a reassembled Vision body and bring it back to life. But he's the Gray Vision. And in the comic book, the Gray Vision was evil and he fought the Avengers.
Because he has no emotion.
Yeah, he don't have any emotion. He just fought them. So I'm interested to see where they go with this. I also thought it could have been Ultron maybe who's awake in there.
Right.
Which would be kind of interesting.
A little piece of Ultron's psyche somehow stored.
Yeah.
In the robotics of Vision,
because Jarvis is still in there too, right? Like if they put it together correctly, like I don't know.
So that's the thing. I don't know if they're. I think it's a combination of all 3 rather than them being 3 separate things within Vision. But I don't know, because that's what Bruce talked about, how Vision's a little bit of Bruce Banner and a little bit of Tony and a little bit of Vision and a little bit of Ultron and a little bit of the Mind Stone.
Yeah,
and so they were trying to determine what
would be left after.
Yeah, right. What makes Vision? Again, what a human question.
So this is something like, Wanda could, one of the, I guess my theory, and this is kind of what we're talking about, what Brandon mentioned, is I think Wanda's going to take that version of Vision and like put it inside of that Gray Vision.
Agnes talked about transmutation, which is turning one thing into another thing.
See, that's the thing. Like the pants lived outside of the thing, so I think the kids can live outside of the thing.
I don't know. Like I'm super intrigued because
Vision and why can't Vision live outside of the thing?
Because
why would Vision?
Because he's created, and here's the difference.
Oh, because he didn't have.
It's basic physics, right? Matter can't be changed,
right?
But you can't destroy matter. You can make matter into something else.
It's like when Monica Rambeau was going back through, it was being rewritten. It was like rewriting the DNA pattern.
Yeah,
right?
so which is why her pants were bulletproof, because it was from her Kevlar vest. She changed matter,
and it's how she got power.
Vision and her kids, like, it was spontaneous creation of matter, which is against physics. It's a complete opposite, which is why Vision can't live outside the hex, but other things can.
Well, I think he's going to end up being alive somehow or another.
Well, yeah, no, they're going to put him in the gray
robot?
Vision. Yeah, they're going to.
We'll see.
She's going to give her creation of Vision into the corporeal body of whatever the fuck we saw in the end credit scene.
I don't know. It's pretty interesting. Like, kind of how this season's worked. I wasn't sure if I really liked the show, but the last few episodes have been really good. I've really liked them.
I've watched this last episode 3 times now. I watched it the first time, and then I watched the last 3 episodes because I wanted to see the build up to that one, and then I watched it before I came over here.
I've been rewatching them all with my brother. We're on like episode 5 or 6, I think. So
no, I'm on board. I'm ready for Friday, and there's so many good things to tide us over till the good Marvel stuff, because there's Godzilla coming out, there's Winter Soldier and Falcon, and then hopefully that'll get us to summertime where we can get some of the movies.
Oh, I seen them launch like a release date, and like there's stuff that's scheduled to come out all year, ain't there? Yeah. I sent you that.
It's supposed to be a very busy year.
It looks really good. Like there's a lot of really cool stuff coming down the pipe. Loki comes in like the end of June or July or something like that, and then. You got in November. What was the other one they were doing in November? I can't even remember.
Spider-Man got its name. They did the third Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
Yeah. Now, they are really cryptic of some of that shit. That's like, is Jamie Foxx gonna be Electro?
Right. Is Andrew Garfield gonna be in it? Is Tobey Maguire gonna be there?
They are really tight-lipped about all that.
The logo stuff that they showed, like when it closed to black screen and logo, that's the stuff from Spider-Verse. Like that color scheme and font that they used is pretty similar to Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse.
Is that the No Way Home? Like he's in another dimension and can't get back?
Right. So I think they're trying to do live action Spider-Verse.
Well, they better do it right. That's going to be hard to take on, man.
Again, that is taking a gigantic
I get
bite.
nightmare flashbacks of the Amazing Spider-Man 2, of all the fucking people they threw in that. That was just a clusterfuck.
I've almost brought, because Disney Plus has the Fantastic Four movies, and I've been really close to subjecting myself to those.
You know, I don't mind the first group,
because I almost did Spider-Man, but like, you know what, I really want
the first 2 Fantastic Four.
They're terrible, but they're not terrible.
But the thing is we didn't know they were terrible. They weren't terrible. The fact of the matter is that I enjoyed those 2 movies more than I enjoyed the first 2 X-Men movies. And that was what you could compare them to, because of what. Yeah, like
They're
Iron Man wasn't out yet.
I think the X-Men movies are better than the Fast
and the Ang Lee Incredible
movies.
Hulk movie.
Terrible. That was terrible.
Yeah, no. So the Fantastic Four I remember before Iron Man,
they weren't a complete shit show.
Watching the Fantastic Four movies and going, this is what comic book movies should be like, because the only comparison I had was the Ang Lee Hulk movie, which I was like, this is terrible, and the X-Men movie, and then the shit like the Superman and Batman movies, which you really can't compare.
That's true.
So
I hated Doctor Doom. I thought the Thing was goofy in those Fantastic Four movies. Johnny Storm was okay, but that's Chris Evans. It turns out he was just a good actor, and that's why he was good in the movies. But the Silver Surfer with Lawrence Fishburne doing the voice, that was actually really good. I actually enjoyed that. Galactus at the end was awful, though.
Yeah,
unforgivable. Can't forgive that movie for the way they did Galactus.
They can't. Galactus in general, like, it's just nobody can get that right.
No, you just do a big guy. Like, you do a big guy, like Galactus, yeah. Well,
you know what's crazy in the, and they've already done the Infinity War, but like, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the true comic version of the Infinity War, like Galactus and Doctor Doom and like all the villains came out too to try to beat Thanos.
They zapped Doctor Doom away. He was gone in the snap. And then, but yes, Galactus did show up along with the Celestials, and Thanos killed them all.
Yeah, no, like, I mean, that was like everybody showed up.
Yeah.
And we still haven't seen
Thanos,
Adam Warlock, the true hero of...
Yeah, that was all. The Infinity Gauntlet comic book is a fantastic read. You can buy the whole thing in trade paperback, so you can just read it like a book. But I highly recommend it if you're looking for a good story, because it's different than what happens in the movies. You can see a lot of similarities, but there's a lot of differences too.
But so it's weird though, right? Because Galactus could be the new big bad. Like that would be perfectly fine, but it's like maybe they should have done that before. I mean, I don't know where you go from Infinity War.
I think Galactus could be a cool one, like because it's a extraterrestrial threat that's really threatening, and the difference is like Thanos is still a man; he was still beatable. And Galactus is hard to beat. In the comic books, they never really officially ever beat Galactus. They just convince him to leave all the time.
Yeah,
like they don't ever kill him. Like he's too powerful. But
so we got anything in the pipe? Anything coming up? Anything to tell the viewers about?
We're still working on the Harry Potter thing. We're going to discuss more of that later and try to get that scheduled up and get that out to you guys.
We're still talking about that. I will say there is a big announcement. We are now on Pandora.
There you go, Pandora.
Heck yeah.
So let's just count it. Let's count it down. We're in Podbean. We're at YouTube. We're on Pandora.
I think we're just about everywhere that you can listen to podcasts.
Are we on Apple Music?
Apple. Are we on? Oh, we are on Apple now.
We're on Apple Music too. So like anywhere that you can listen to your podcast, like that's where we are.
I'll have to double check.
Okay.
Oh no, you're right. I think you did say we were on Apple
because we are on Amazon. We're on Amazon Music. So we're about anywhere that you can listen to a podcast.
Yeah, there you go, guys. We're trying to. So please listen. We need some views.
Yeah. So wherever you weren't listening to us before, we've added places for you not to listen to us.
So do you want to run through the where you can find us at?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find us on Twitter at Unacclaimed Pod. You can find Tyler at Untyler Hicks.
That's right.
You can find us on Facebook at Critically Unacclaimed on our profile, or you can find Critically Unacclaimed as our page. Either one, like and subscribe. You can find us on YouTube, the Critically Unacclaimed channel. You can also find our website, thecriticallyacclaimedpodcast.com. Did I miss any?
No, I think that's it.
God damn, man, I'm better at plugs.
You are better at plugs. You don't mess up nowhere near as much. Hey, appreciate you guys listening.
Yeah, absolutely. Until next week, guys. Thanks.
I understand they hungry, but please don't hate, that's ugly. I've been sliding, shaking, moving. I've been popping in my city. Shawty say she love the way we do it with me. I be too turned up to ever give a fuck. I ain't come to argue, let a nigga fuck. They been talking pennies, I need bigger bucks. About to catch a flight, I need to switch it up. Got that black boy joy, might do my dance on him. Take no disrespect, might put my hands on him. Hit this chicken, now she wanna marry me. But she gon' need some closure and some therapy. Came back to the city with my bank account on F. Giving rappers hell, I know they happy that I left. Hit the south in winter, I just put down my deposit. 82 degrees, I left that jacket in my closet. I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a stick up. She picture perfect, so I told him I'ma flick up. Bill, I'm in the mood for a change up. I leave the city and return with my change up. They got amnesia, don't remember how they played us. They wanna knock me down, but somehow I just stay up. Hey, look, came in with the what's that? Left out with the who she? Laying game like 2D, I been kicking shit like Bruce Lee. Margarita to the brim tip, black denim need a slim fit. Same people that I flex with be the ones that I'm in the gym with. I'm a living legend, you a dead cause, and I'm dead ass. No, I'm dead, right? Leaving early, but I'm here night. Long and short to keep the head right. Teed up out in Malibu, got sand all in my good shoes. Press a nigga with the pessimism, but I only came for the good news. I am the show that they came for, hitting the target I aim for. We been discussing the contract, just telling they get what they paid for. I am not fucking with poverty, really it started to bother me. I need the yacht with the property, they come with the view that you gotta see. Came up from the basement, hit the rooftop with a passion. Bad bitch with some good credit and a good sense for the fashion. Dope blow blowing with the left hand, ass gripping with the right hand. Uber share to the airport, I'ma hit you back when my flight land. I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a stick up. She picture perfect, so I told him I'ma flick up. Bill, I'm in the mood for a change up. I leave the city and return with my change up. They got amnesia, don't remember how they played us. They wanna knock me down, but somehow I just stay up.